Good morning, everybody. Chris and Tanya with Clutter Reduction Junk Removal in Palm Beach County, Florida. We are at a local restaurant right now removing these benches right here. They're doing renovations inside. This is our third time picking up items from their renovation, and I think we will be back a couple more times after that. So we're gonna go ahead and get these loaded. We'll send over the before and after photos to the general manager, and we'll be taking payment over the phone. So we just got back home. The rest of the day is going to be basically just running donations that we have piled up in our garage to our local source. So we were supposed to be going today to do a clean out, and that was postponed because the family member who is in charge of it needed to confirm with the building or something. And one of the managers just called us, who we're in contact with, and said that family member had just jumped the gun and went ahead and called 1-800-GOT-JUNK, and they're going to be coming out this weekend to do the job. Now, we were in contact with the maintenance director, who was talking to us initially and sent us all the photos, and that's what we were waiting for. So I messaged him and said, hey, the other manager just informed us of the situation. Are you able to contact the resident's family member and just mention that we were kind of already in the works of this, we were just postponed. This is roughly what our price is going to be, because he did send me photos, and we can get it done before them, because there's a pretty good chance we're going to be cheaper than 1-800-GOT-JUNK, especially in that area. We find that in that specific location, it's a luxury senior living facility in a nicer part of a city. People tend to inflate their prices because of it. So we don't do that. We keep it the same. And I find that we usually will always come out a little bit cheaper. So we're gonna wait to see what happens there. Either way though, the manager had called us and said there's another thing that we need to do there. It's a queen bed and like frame and box spring. He said the bed has been soiled on. So what I like to do in that situation, well, I don't like to do it, but we do it for health purposes. I get a mattress bag like you would use for when you're moving, and we put the mattress bag on the bed, tape it off, and then we charge a mattress sanitation fee. And that's just to keep whatever's on the bed off of us. So if there's ever blood in larger amounts, or if it's fresher blood, or if it's been soiled on, or it's heavily stained, or maybe it was just treated for bed bugs, even if it's been treated, we still treat it as if there may be a chance of us getting it, and we'll put that bag on it. And then we can put a mattress bag on a bed without ever touching the mattress itself. So we never contact it. We have a video where we demonstrated doing that, super easy. But that's what we will likely do, and we're going to be doing that tomorrow morning after our networking group. So while we're there, I might try to see if I can talk to the maintenance director as well. I just text him, but maybe I'll see if I can talk to him in person, because that's the only problem with being a vendor for somewhere, is there's no guarantee that you're going to get every job that comes in there, because you're the go-to person for that building and you're the go-to person to be recommended, but there's no rule that the resident or the resident's family can't call another company to do that job. There's no like one company that said no one else can enter this building. There's typically not that kind of rule. Some places will actually do that for insurance purposes, because they have them down a specific vendor list that they have to use, but it's very rare, at least in our area, that that's the case. So we're just gonna basically try to beat them to the punch and say, if you don't want to wait until Sunday, you know, today's Wednesday, we can come out sooner. Here's our price. I know they didn't quote you over the phone because they don't do that, but I am damn sure that they're probably going to be closer to the 600 to 700 range, and I quoted them 540 because their trucks are smaller than ours, even though they advertise that it's not. And I know they charge a lot more when you have to do bagging and stuff. So we'll see. We're gonna try to steal it back, but it kind of sucked because we were supposed to go do it this morning and it just got postponed because there was no confirmation. And now we know why, because they were trying to find another company. So it is what it is if we don't get it, but we'll try to get it back if we can. What would be great actually is if they say, yes, that's fine, and we go do it tomorrow when we go pick up the bed. We just kill 2 birds with 1 stone. But we'll see. I mean, I could definitely do it by myself. I don't need to have Tanya come with me. 1-800-GOT-JUNK. Always stealing jobs. Actually, we usually steal jobs from them. There's a lot of times where people like, they call it like, yeah, we call it 1-800-GOT-JUNK, and they told us it's gonna be $250 for this, and we come out and we're like $190, $200, and they're like, and like that's a small example, but we had one job where it was a house clean out, and like it was mostly furniture, not a lot of small stuff, and they're like, yeah, they told us there's gonna be like 5 loads in their truck, and this is how big their truck was. And when I talked to them on the phone and I said that our trailer is 17 cubic yards, they're like, 1-800-GOT-JUNK was like 15. I'm like, no, the hell they're not. They're closer to like 10 or 11. They advertise that they're like 12 to 14, but they're not. And I told them that when we got there, because they showed up in the truck to give the estimate, and they were looking at it and they understood the volume and like how to calculate it. And they were like, there's no way that truck holds that much, because they've used dumpsters in the past. They've flipped houses before. And they've used dumpsters in the past. I'm like, there's no way that truck is that much. And I told them my story about how we were at a gas station once and they always park the trucks overnight. I went over and measured the back of the truck, and they claim that they're 10 feet long, 5 feet high, 8 feet wide. It was 10 feet long and it was 5 feet high, but it was like 6.25 feet wide, which is a huge difference. That's a difference of like 2 to 3 cubic yards, which is a lot in terms of volume for junk removal. That could easily be $100 to $200 difference. So I told them that little story, and then I said, I just wondered maybe it was an older truck, but then we had a newer truck at a different gas station. I went over and did the same thing. So like we were talking about it, and I was like, I always perceive that as like the truest form of false advertisement, especially for junk removal. Like everything is dependent by volume. You're telling people that this is how big your truck is. In reality, it's not. And that's how you're charging. Like that should be a problem, and I don't understand why it's not. So one day I'm gonna meet someone from 1-800-GOT-JUNK, and I'm gonna ask them about that and see what they say. I'm just so curious. Like I don't tell people, yeah, our trucks are 7 feet wide. No, it's 6.5 feet. Like I don't say it's 6 foot high sides. No, it's 5 foot sides. You can go in and measure it if you want. That's my little attention on 1-800-GOT-JUNK. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Super easy. We quoted, or we charged $260 for that job earlier. It was a little closer to, actually it was a little closer to 3/8 of a truck, which is 6 yards instead of 4, just the way they stacked up in the truck. But they're repeat clients. We're actually gonna be eating at their restaurant tomorrow night. The client who owns the restaurants, she's the head chef who kind of created it all. She's our client, and the manager at that restaurant is the one who usually contacts us. But she owns 5 restaurants in this city, all downtown. She owns a couple of more in a few different states, including New York. So I'm excited. Food looks really good. I'll throw up a couple of pictures of the menu options. But excited. I don't know if the manager's gonna be there or not, but if he is, we'll say hi. So yeah, that's that. We'll see if we can steal our job back from 1-800-GOT-JUNK. But let me know down below, if you are a vendor for somewhere, how often do you find that other people are picking other companies before you? We have it happen all the time. It happens at storage units. It happened at a couple of ceiling facilities, and it's happened once or twice for realtors. We know realtors that said, hey, I'm probably gonna have a job for you guys in this couple of weeks. There's a lot of stuff here the customer doesn't want to keep. And then they find out that before that conversation comes up, because they're worrying about everything else first, the client will go ahead and just go online and Google junk removal, and they're like, all right, now we need to schedule somebody for the junk removal. We already have somebody, and they're like, we already called so-and-so. They're supposed to be coming out next week for an estimate. And sometimes the realtors will say, well, I already have a guy, let's use him, cancel that. And they'll just, switch us over. Sometimes the client won't communicate that to the realtor though, and they'll just show up and there's already like College Hunks or 1-800-GOT-JUNK or junk luggers are already there, and they're like, what are these guys doing here? And I tell them, I'm like, don't worry about that if it happens. I get it, but I appreciate the frustration, because I think they like to send us work and we like to refer them out, but it happens. You can't do anything about that. So it is what it is. But let me know, how often do you find that you're like a vendor or a go-to person for somebody, and somebody kind of beats them to the gun and calls somebody else?